My husband said he was working late, but his dating profile matched with me while he was sitting right next to me. That was the moment I realized I wasn't his wife anymore. I was just someone he hadn't replaced. Yet. He didn't even look nervous. That was the part that stayed with me. Not the profile, not the lie, but how normal he looked. Laptop open, a spreadsheet on the screen, phone in his hand, scrolling with the same calm expression he used every night. Like this was routine, like there was nothing to hide. The light from his screen hit his face just right. Soft, familiar, almost comforting. And that made it worse because nothing about this felt like a mistake. It felt practiced, controlled, effortless. My phone was still in my hand. His profile staring back at me. Same photo I had taken for him, same jacket, same watch. The one he said he only wore for important meetings. Profile said single. Looking for something real. I read that line again, something real. 8 years of marriage reduced to a sentence he probably copied and pasted. I looked up slowly. He was still sitting there, 10 feet away, typing. Then my phone buzzed, his message. You seem interesting. I stared at the screen, then at him, and something inside me didn't break. It shifted, quiet, cold, final, because in that moment I understood something clearly. This wasn't the first time, and if I did nothing, it wouldn't be the last. I didn't confront him. Not that night, not even the next morning, because something in me had already moved past anger. It wasn't shock anymore, it was clarity, clean, cold, precise. Like my brain had skipped emotion and gone straight into understanding. I watched him the next day, small things. How easily he moved through the house, how normal he sounded, asking if we needed groceries, talking about work, checking emails, the same man, the same voice, the same life, just layered with something else I hadn't seen before. And now I couldn't unsee it. That was when I made the decision, not to ask, not to accuse, but to let him show me everything without pressure, without warning. Without a chance to prepare, I opened a new email, a simple, clean, no connection to me, then created a profile. Different name, different photos, carefully chosen, nothing too perfect, nothing that looked fake. Just enough to feel real, approachable, familiar. Because men like him didn't chase perfection. They chased comfort, something easy, something that didn't challenge them. I built someone he would trust without realizing he already had. Then I searched for him again, found the same profile, same smile, same lie. My thumb hovered over the screen. 1 second, 2, then I swiped right, match, instant, no hesitation, no pause, like I was just another option. Not a risk, not a question, just routine. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't the beginning of something. This was the middle of something. I had just walked into his pattern. Hey, that was his first message, no hesitation, no pause. Just one word. Like he had done this 100 times before, I stared at it for a second, then typed back, hi, simple, neutral. Nothing that would give me away. The typing bubble appeared almost instantly. He was still on the couch, same position, same calm expression, phone slightly angled away. Like that small movement made it private, my phone buzzed. His message, what are you looking for? I looked up. He was right there, 10 feet away, existing in 2 versions at the same time. I typed slowly. Something real. He responded faster this time. Same no games. No pressure, I almost smiled. Because I had heard that before, just not like this. He shifted slightly, crossed one leg over the other, completely relaxed, then glanced at me, brief casual. The kind of look you give someone you think you know. You okay? He asked. Out loud, I nodded. Yeah, my phone buzzed again. You seem different. I read it twice because he was right. Something about me had changed. Just not in a way he could understand. We kept talking, light questions. Work schedules, what we liked, what we didn't. He reused the same tone, the same rhythm, like this was a script practiced, refined. At one point, he laughed softly at something I had just sent. Then looked up at me, smiling. like nothing was wrong, like nothing had shifted. And in that moment, something became very clear. He didn't see this as betrayal. He saw it as normal routine, part of his life. And I realized I wasn't discovering something new, I was finally seeing what had always been there. On the second night, I stopped playing along. Not completely, just enough to see how far he would go. I asked the question directly. Are you single? No build-up, no soft framing, just the truth. He didn't hesitate, yes. One word. Fast, clean. Like he had already decided before I even asked. At that exact moment, I picked up my real phone. The one he knew, the one saved under my name. And I sent him a message, dinner, just that. Nothing dramatic, nothing suspicious, just something normal, something real. His phone buzzed. I watched him see it. His eyes flicked down, paused for half a second. Then he turned the screen slightly, like he needed distance, not from the message, but from me. He didn't open it, didn't respond, didn't even acknowledge it. Instead, my other phone buzzed. His message, what kind of connection are you looking for? I felt something tighten, not in my chest, but somewhere deeper, quieter. Because this wasn't impulse, this wasn't confusion, this was choice, clear, deliberate. He picked the version of me that didn't require anything over the version that shared his life. And he did it without thinking, without hesitation. I typed back slowly. Something simple. Honest. He replied instantly. Like I was the only conversation that mattered. I looked up. He was still sitting there, same posture, same calm expression, same man. But something about him had shifted. Or maybe it was because now, there was no doubt left, no confusion, no space for denial. Just one clear understanding. He wasn't lying because he had to. He was lying because he wanted to. And that was worse. On the third night, he pushed further. Not aggressively. Not obviously, just enough to test the distance. He asked if we could talk. Not text, not message. A real call, just to hear your voice. That was what he wrote. Simple. Almost innocent. My fingers hovered over the screen. Because this was the first real risk. Text was safe, controlled filter to call was different. A voice could slip, a tone could reveal something. One wrong pause, one familiar word, and everything could collapse. I typed slowly, maybe later. No explanation, no apology, just enough to keep him there. A typing bubble appeared, stopped, appeared again, then disappeared. A few seconds later, my phone buzzed. A voice message. I didn't open it immediately. I already knew what it would sound like. Warm, easy. The same voice that used to make everything feel stable. The same voice that asked me every morning if I wanted coffee. The same voice that said we were fine. I pressed play. Hey, just wanted to hear you. Nothing special. Nothing suspicious. Just him. And somehow, that made it worse because there was no difference. No shift. No sign. He didn't become someone else when he lied. He stayed exactly the same. And that meant this wasn't an act. This was him. I stopped the audio halfway. Didn't need to hear the rest. Because I already understood everything. This wasn't new. This wasn't sudden. This was practiced. Comfortable routine. I put the phone down. Looked up. He was still there. Same couch. Same position. Scrolling unaware, or maybe just unconcerned. At one point, he stood up, walked past me, paused near the kitchen. You okay? He asked, casual, soft. Like he meant it, I nodded. Yeah. My phone buzzed again. Did I say something wrong? I stared at that message, then at him, standing, just a few feet away. And something shifted again. Not pain, not anger. Just distance. Because in that moment I realized something else. He wasn't afraid of losing me. He was afraid of losing access. And that was the difference between love and what this had become. By the fourth day, I stopped reacting, stopped questioning, stopped expecting anything to make sense. Because it already did, I just hadn't wanted to see it before. The pattern was there, clear, consistent, quietly built into everything he did. I started noticing details, small ones, the kind you ignore when you trust someone. Charges on our joint card, Not large, not obvious, just enough to blend in. Late coffee shops, ride shares that didn't match his schedule, meetings that never showed up on his calendar. At first, they looked random, disconnected, but once I stepped back, they lined up perfectly, like a routine, like a system. He didn't improvise. He rotated different nights, different locations, different stories. Always just believable enough. Always just out of reach. I checked his work calendar, compared it to the times he messaged me. There were gaps, clean gaps designed to be invisible. But now, they weren't. Now, they were obvious. Because I knew where to look. That was the moment it shifted again. This wasn't about catching him in one lie. This was about understanding the structure behind it. He wasn't careless. He was organized. And that made it worse, because it meant he had built this, maintained it, protected it. Over time, I sat at the kitchen table, phone in front of me. His profile still open, still active, still searching. And I realized something I hadn't before. I wasn't outside of this. Looking in, I was inside it, part of the system, just not the part he thought about anymore. That's when I made the next decision, not emotional, not reactive. Just clear, I wasn't going to interrupt this. I was going to step deeper into it and let it unfold all the way until there was nothing. Left to question, nothing left to guess, only truth. And this time, I would be the one controlling when it surfaced. I didn't wait any longer. On the 5th day, I moved not emotionally, not impulsively. Just precise, I suggested we meet simple public. No pressure, the kind of message that feels safe. He responded almost immediately, like he had been expecting it. Yeah, I'd like that, no hesitation, no questions. Just agreement. That told me everything. This wasn't new territory for him. This was familiar ground. We picked a place downtown neutral, somewhere we had never been together. That detail mattered, because I didn't want anything to overlap. No shared memory. No chance of recognition. Just him, and the version of himself he thought was hidden. He said he'd come after work, late busy day. I read that line carefully, because I knew exactly how he would use it, a built-in excuse. A reason to be unavailable, a cover that sounded normal. I replied, "That works short easy. No emotion." Then I put the phone down. Looked across the room. He was at the table. Laptop open, typing focused. Like he always was, the same man, same posture, same calm rhythm, completely unaware, or maybe just completely confident because nothing about his life had ever forced him to stop. No consequences, no interruptions, no reason to question what he was doing. Until now. I watched him for a moment longer, then looked away, because the plan was already set. There was nothing left to decide. Only one thing left to do. Show up, and let him walk into it without knowing, until it was too late. The night came quietly. No tension, no visible shift, just another evening. That was what made it feel strange. How normal everything looked. He got ready without rushing. Changed his shirt, checked his watch, picked up his keys. The same routine he used every time he said he was working late. He paused near the door, looked back at me. "Might be a long one tonight, don't wait up." His voice was calm, familiar, almost reassuring. I nodded, like I always did. Okay, no questions, no suspicion, just the version of me he expected. The door closed, and the silence that followed felt different. Not empty, not heavy, just final. Like something had already ended, and this was just the last step. I waited a few minutes. Not because I needed to, but because timing mattered. Then I stood up, walked to the bedroom. Got ready slowly. Nothing dramatic, nothing that would stand out, simple clothes, clean lines, neutral. Because this wasn't about how I looked, it was about what I was about to see. I checked my phone. His last message, still there, running a bit late. I almost smiled, because I knew exactly where he was going, just not how the night would end. I grabbed my keys, stepped outside. The air was cool, quiet. The kind of night that didn't feel like it held anything important. But it did. I got in the car, drove downtown. Traffic was light. Street lights reflecting off the windshield. Everything felt controlled. Predictable until I reached the restaurant. I parked across the street, engine off, hands still. And for the first time since all of this started, I allowed myself to pause. Not to hesitate, but to acknowledge it. This was the moment. Not the discovery. Not the messages. What was about to happen. I looked at the entrance, watched the door, and waited for him to arrive, and for everything to finally become visible. He arrived exactly on time. No delay, no hesitation. Like this night was already planned in his head. Same jacket, same watch, same calm confidence. Nothing about him looked different. That was the first thing I noticed. The second, he wasn't alone. A woman stepped out of the car with him. Younger mid-20s, careful movements. Like she wasn't completely sure where she stood yet. She adjusted her dress, smoothed her hair, looked at him for reassurance, and he gave it instantly. A small smile, a few quiet words. Something that made her relax. Like he knew exactly what to say, and when to say it. I stayed still, watching, not reacting. Because this wasn't a surprise anymore, it was confirmation. Everything I had seen. Everything I had suspected. Now it had shape, form, reality. They walked toward the entrance, close. Not touching, but close enough to suggest something familiar, practiced. He opened the door for her, let her step inside first. The kind of detail that felt intentional, designed. He wasn't just meeting her, he was performing, creating a version of himself that looked safe, reliable, real. I waited a few seconds, then stepped out of the car, followed them in, far enough to stay unnoticed, close enough to see everything. Because now, this wasn't about whether he was lying, that part was already done. This was about how far it went and how many versions of the truth he had been living at the same time. They chose a table near the center, not hidden, not exposed, just enough space to feel private. He pulled her chair out, waited until she sat, then took his seat across from her. Smooth, effortless, like this was familiar, like he had done this before. Many times I took a table behind them, far enough to stay invisible, close enough to hear pieces, not everything, just enough, the kind of distance where truth slips through. He leaned forward slightly, voice lower, focused. Present. The way he used to be with me, before everything became routine, before I stopped paying attention, or maybe before he stopped needing to try. She asked him about work. He answered easily, confident, polished. The same story he told everyone, busy schedule, long hours, hard to meet the right person. I watched her nod, listening, believing, because nothing about him looked false. That was the problem. He didn't look like someone hiding something. He looked like someone completely in control. A waiter approached. He ordered for both of them. Didn't ask, just assumed. She smiled. Let him comfortable, trusting. I recognized that pattern. The way he positioned himself, the way he created certainty, so no one would question him. My phone buzzed. I didn't need to look, I already knew. I still checked. Just to confirm, running a little late, I stared at the message, then lifted my eyes. He was 10 feet away, laughing softly. Completely on time, completely present. Just not where he said he would be. I typed slowly, no rush, no emotion. I'm already here. Near the window, I watched his body shift, not obvious. Just a pause, a break in rhythm. His eyes lifted, scanning the room, looking for someone, looking for me. And for the first time that night, something in his expression changed. Not fear, not yet, just uncertainty. Because suddenly the version of control he thought he had was no longer complete. I stood up slowly, no rush, no hesitation, just movement, controlled, measured. Each step toward his table felt quiet but heavy, like something invisible was shifting with me. He was still scanning the room, trying to locate a stranger, trying to stay composed, trying to keep control. He didn't look at me. Not really, just past me, through me. like I was another person in the background. That part didn't hurt. Not anymore. Because it made sense. To him, I had already disappeared. I stopped beside the table. Close enough now that he should have recognized me, but he didn't. Not yet. He looked up, eyes briefly meeting mine. Polite neutral, the way you look at someone you don't know. And that was the final confirmation. Not the app, not the messages, this moment. Right here, I pulled the chair out. The sound of it sliding against the floor cut through everything. Both of them looked at me now. Confusion. Uncertainty. A break in whatever story he had been telling. I sat down across from him, calm, steady. And for a second, nothing happened. Just silence. Heavy, unavoidable. Then his eyes shifted again, closer. Searching. Trying to connect. Something. And that was when it started. Recognition slow. Unwelcome, I watched it happen piece by piece until it reached him. And stayed, it didn't hit all at once. There was no sudden shock, no dramatic reaction, just a gradual change. Like something inside him was trying to reject what it was seeing. His eyes moved over my face again, longer, this time slower, trying to find something familiar, something that didn't make sense. His posture shifted, slightly, almost unnoticeable, but enough his breathing changed, not deeper, not faster, just different. Like control was slipping, the woman beside him looked between us, confused, waiting, trying to understand what she had just walked into. "Who is this?" Her voice soft, but sharp, cutting through the silence. He didn't answer, not immediately because he couldn't. Not yet. I leaned forward, slightly, not aggressive, not emotional, just present, and I spoke. "You're not late." The words landed quietly, but they stayed. He blinked. Once, twice, I held his gaze. "You're exactly where you said you'd be, just not with who you said." That was it. No accusation. No raised voice. Just truth clear. Precise. And now, there was nowhere left for him to hide. I reached for my phone. Slow. Deliberate. Placed it on the table between us. The screen lit up. His profile. Still active, still visible, still smiling. The woman leaned forward, slightly, her eyes scanning, reading, processing. I watched her expression change, not instantly, but clearly confusion, then understanding, then something quieter, final. She leaned back, looked at him, not asking, not waiting. Just seeing he opened his mouth, tried to speak, stopped, because there was nothing left. No explanation that worked. No version of the truth that could hold together. Everything was already in front of us, visible, undeniable. The waiter passed by, slowed, slightly sensed something, then kept moving. Because this wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was controlled, contained, and somehow that made it heavier. The woman stood up. No sudden movement, no anger, just decision. She looked at him one last time, then turned and walked away without a word, without looking back, and that silence, that quiet exit, hit harder than anything else because it meant she didn't need answers. She already had them. He finally spoke, words coming out uneven, trying to form something, an explanation, a defense, a version of events that might still work, but nothing landed, nothing held, because this wasn't confusion. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was exposure, complete, irreversible. He leaned forward slightly, lowered his voice like that would contain it, like that would fix it. I listened, didn't interrupt, didn't react, just let him speak, until the words started repeating, until the meaning disappeared, until even he stopped believing what he was saying. That was when I stood up, not abruptly, not dramatically, just enough to end it. He looked up at me. Something in his expression. Now not control, not confidence, something else. Something smaller. But it didn't matter, not anymore, because whatever he had been, whatever version of him I had held on to was already gone. I looked at him. Really looked. For the first time that night, without confusion, without doubt, just clarity. And I said, "You didn't recognize me." The words stayed in the air, calm, steady. Because you stopped seeing me a long time ago. No anger, no accusation, just truth. The kind that doesn't need volume, the kind that doesn't need explanation. He didn't respond. Not because he couldn't, but because there was nothing left to say. I turned, walked away. No rush, no hesitation. The sound of the room came back slowly. Voices, dishes, movement. Like nothing had happened. Like everything was still normal, but it wasn't. Not for me. Not anymore. I stepped outside. The air cool, quiet, clean. And for the first time since this started, I felt something. Not anger, not sadness, just certainty. Because this was never about catching him. It was about seeing him exactly as he was, and once you see that, you don't fix it, you don't negotiate with it, you don't stay. You leave, and you don't come back. If you were in that chair, would you expose him like this? Or walk away without saying a word?